Thank you, Chairwoman Stevens and Chairman Lamb, Ranking Members Baird and Weber for having this hearing today. Thank you, witnesses, for your time and attention. So I have the honor and privilege of representing a district in Northeast Ohio, Ohio's 16th district. And obviously, we rely heavily on manufacturing, always have. We're proud of it. And we employ roughly 41,000 people working directly in the industry, $2.2 billion in annual payroll. And it's just been an incredible gift to our region and our country. But we share a lot of the frustrations that have been voiced here today. Team NEO, which is one of our business development groups in town, recently told us that advanced manufacturing has about 15,000 open jobs that haven't been filled due to the growing skills gap. And so we clearly have, if I want to break this into kind of two things, we clearly have workforce issues, but then I also believe we have investment issues. I think, in Washington, D.C., we do a good job, or I think we do a poor job, I should say, but we like to spend a lot of money. I don't think we're particularly thoughtful about our investments. I think there's a difference between just spending versus investing. And when I think of this hearing and when I think of how important this is, I think we need to reprioritize our dollars, and we need to think about actually investing in advanced manufacturing, giving it the resources that it needs. And yes, we need to be more efficient, no question, but if we underinvest, then we're going to lose to Germany and China. And there's no reason why that has to be the case. And so I want to start my first question focused specifically on China and Germany and the trends that they have on the investment side. Dr. Molnar, could you talk specifically about how those two countries have prioritized advanced manufacturing and the investments that they have made in that sector compared to us in the last 5 years, let's say?
Well, the German Fraunhofer network with the 69 institutes, they have a different model. It's a much more structured model. I believe it's a 2.3 or 2.4 billion euro annual budget, and so this is funding their institutes. They also have a cross-cutting program that encourages intra-institute activities. So as I mentioned before, they've really built that into their innovation ecosystem, coming from their national labs and being an applied research conduit, working closely with industry. We work with them, we talk with them, and again, there are many similarities. One thing that we are proud of with Manufacturing USA is the innovative culture and the ability to, as was identified, when technology changes, when you find something, we can stop nimbly and pivot and go with the voice of industry. So we always want to move a bit faster. The question of China is more difficult. They do not publish budgets of what they have. From what we have been able to see, they are very, very well funded, and it really is a government-led initiative.
And then Germany, you said, was 2.4 billion euro. What is our dollar figure? Don't convert it to euro if you don't want to, unless you're really good at math.
Well, again, the federal investment has been limited to the startup of institutes.
Yep.
So I believe we're talking about from the last year about a $350 million
Yep.
collective investment.
So fair to say Germany is more focused and they commit more resources?
Yes.
Okay. And then when we're talking about the skills gap, you mentioned Purdue has done a really good job of what I would call advertising the program that they have and getting more folks into it. Could you talk more about that? Because when I hear about the skills gap in my district, I hear about a few things. One, there's definitely there is a skills gap, but there's also an awareness gap. There's a motivation gap, if you will. Like folks, I think you said it earlier, folks think of manufacturing as heavy industry, and maybe it's not as cool, quote unquote. But obviously Purdue's doing something different. Can you talk about what they've done that's been successful?
Well, I wouldn't say. I think the success stories. We are working on our next year's annual report. I mentioned in the past year over 200,000 people were touched by programs in with Manufacturing USA. We're anticipating that this number will be much higher for our next year. But I'd say I'd point to Lorain Community College.
Yeah.
Working with students. So part of the piloting programs that we have with the institutes, we want to cascade it. And so community colleges like Lorain are important partners. So I think that there will be a lot of interesting success stories coming up very soon.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. I think